Welcome aboard Scenic Eclipse 2. I'm Mike Cusack. I'll be your discovery leader for the next 10 days along the outstanding Kimberley coast. The Kimberley, with its breathtaking coast, will be our home for the next 10 days as we navigate through its maze of islands, pristine waterways and towering ancient rock formations. And once again, welcome aboard Scenic Eclipse 2.
The geology is, of course, one of the most spectacular and the most incredible sights and things we get to see about the Kimberley. I think it's the colours and the textures and the contrast of those colours and textures against, the blue of the water and the green of the mangroves that just makes those oranges pop. So 1.84 billion years is just how old these rocks are that we've been seeing and walking on. I mean, this is just an incredible and unfathomable amount of time. This is coming up to a third, if not close to a half as old as planet Earth itself. These rocks were forming before there was complex life on Earth. I think King George, the cruise, and of course getting to the falls is one of my absolute favourites. The gorge that we're seeing is just spectacular, just an incredibly beautiful and ancient landscape for us to be seeing. It's a beautiful welcome to the Kimberley on our very first day.
Spanning thousands of years and countless generations, the rock art of the Kimberley serves as a profound testament to the rich heritage of its creators. These artworks are not just images, but windows into the past, offering a glimpse into the spiritual and everyday life of the region's first inhabitants. Kimberley rock art is as diverse as the landscape itself. The Wandjina, with its strikingly impressive faces and ethereal forms, represent ancestral spirits believed to have shaped the land and the people. In contrast, the Goyan paintings feature intricate, delicate figures and elaborate patterns. These artworks, some of the oldest in the Kimberley, are thought to depict ceremonies, stories, and the natural world of their creators. Today, these ancient artworks are not just historical artifacts, but living symbols of cultural continuity, offering invaluable insights into traditional knowledge, beliefs, and customs. Set against the backdrop of the Kimberley's stunning natural beauty, the rock art stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of the land and its people.
We're in the Anjo Peninsula on Van Sittart Bay, and behind me is the C-53. This is a very significant piece of the World War II and a great legacy of what was the evacuation of Java. This aircraft that we see here was involved in the evacuation of the Dutch from what was then the Dutch East Indies, and regrettably they lost their way on a routine flight back from Perth to Broome. The 5 people aboard all survived, so they all lived happily ever after. Quite remarkable, because this has been in the bush for 82 years and it is in such a relatively pristine condition for that, and represents a significant part of the history of Northern Australia during the Second World War.
We have an amazing opportunity to travel off the coast of Australia out into the Timor Sea. We've traveled over 200 nautical miles to this incredible reef. It's called the Ashmore Reef. And this is basically a giant sandbar. It's recognized internationally as a significant bird area where about 100,000 birds breed every year. There's several different types of birds that come here. There's birds called noddies, there's terns, there's frigate birds, there's boobies that come there, and a variety of other birds will use it as a stopping point as well. It is an important place for them because it is basically predator-free for the most part. And all around it, there are very, very good, healthy feeding grounds for the birds who will travel many, many kilometers every day in order to find food and then come back to the colony to raise their young annually.
So mangroves can be found around the tropics in many coastal areas, for example, Indonesia, Brazil, but also the Kimberleys. We have around 18 different species of mangroves here with many different varieties, so it's one of the hotspots for mangroves around the world. And with the mangroves here, with the different types, you can really perceive how important they are and how it helps the ecosystem to be healthy. And hidden among the mangroves, we can find the king of the coast, the saltwater crocodile. We have a very healthy population here. We could see many different animals with different sizes. They can grow up over 6 meters, the males. They keep a healthy ecosystem by predating other animals that otherwise will become populations too big. They are massive animals, prehistoric animals, very old creatures even before dinosaurs. So we get the pleasure and the blessing of being able to see many of them here in the Kimberleys, a healthy ecosystem.
Certainly one of the icons of the Kimberley is Yoa Jabba or Montgomery Reef, and one of my heroes, Sir David Attenborough, called it one of the great natural wonders of the world. And you can really see that when you go there. It's 400 square kilometres, of which over 200 square kilometres is this extraordinary reef. Like Atlantis, you see it seemingly rise out of the sea, but of course it's just the water receding constantly, making this incredibly dynamic ecosystem where everything has to have evolved. And going in there and feeling that power, nosing up into those torrents as they're coming up and going right up to the front of it, or the head of it, where it becomes this wide piece, and you're just feeling that energy underneath you, and it just keeps going and going until, of course, water finds its own level. And this is what makes the place so magical, because the tide goes up, tide goes out, and it just keeps moving. Thank you for joining us on Scenic Eclipse 2 as we uncover the wilderness that is the Kimberley. Hopefully what you'll take away from this is a greater appreciation of this extraordinary landscape and all the creatures, great and small, that are here, the extraordinary culture that has managed to survive and is the world's oldest living culture. So hopefully this has opened your eyes and your minds to this extraordinary part of Australia. And we hope to see you again on Scenic Eclipse 2.